Welcome to Yoga Travels with Karen. I'm Karen, and today I'm going to take you through what I like to call the Bull-Barre yoga session. So this is a session that I do quite regularly, especially when I can't find a nice flat surface or ground when I'm traveling to put my yoga mat down and do a floor yoga class. So as long as you've got some kind of raised flat surface, whether that is a bull-bar, the side of your van, or a fence, it doesn't matter. You have got all the equipment you need. So if you're ready, come and join me for our Bull-Barre yoga session. So we're going to start here at our bull-bar, or any surface that you've got, but I'll call it bull-bar for the session. And feel free to take your shoes off and maybe do a little bit of earthing. Obviously, if the ground's not so comfortable for bare feet, then leave some shoes on and it works perfectly fine. Okay, so first of all, just bringing your feet hip distance apart, we're going to come down into a modified downward dog. So we're going to bring our hands down, keeping those knees bent to start with. Bring our hands down and place it on top of the surface. And we're going to bring our chest down in between the arms, looking down to the ground. Keep those knees bent still, a nice big bend in the knees, in fact, bringing our belly towards our thighs and coming down as far as your flexibility in your back and your shoulders will allow. Keeping those arms nice and straight, but not hyperextended. So a little bend in those. We're protecting the joints here, as well as protecting all other parts of our body. Bring the toes in a little bit towards each other. Feet are hip distance apart. And now, as you breathe, just slowly straighten through the legs. You might just straighten through one and then the other. Let's just warm up those legs. And let that chest drop down, straightening through both legs. And you might feel that this is such a beautiful release all the way through the arms, the shoulders, through the buttocks, through the hamstrings and the legs. Pull that belly button up to spine a little, yet still allowing that chest to drop down. Use the breath here. Use the breath to relax into this nice, easy, modified downward dog. And this is something you can do at any time. If you've been driving for a while, you can stop, and just this exercise alone, or this pose alone, can give you so much relief through the whole body. Just taking a couple of breaths, maybe looking down at the ground and noticing what the ground is made up of. I'm actually on a potato farm at the moment that has sheep as well, so needless to say, there's a little bit of sheep poo around. No potatoes in this section. And occasionally the sheep come and join me in the field. Good, take another breath here, nice big inhale. And as you exhale, straighten through those legs. Feel that release through the back of the legs, through the shoulders. Good, and now it's a nice big bend in the knees. And we're going to roll up nice and slow, dropping the hands down, coming up to a standing position. Lift those shoulders, roll them back, and coming down. Beautiful, nice way to start. Give everything a little shake out. And just stepping back a little bit, and you might need to just have a play here and adjust to see how much space you need. Let's bring up our right leg first of all. Now you can place it with the bottom of your foot against the surface, as I have here, or if that's not conducive to your surface, you can also place the heel on top of the surface, but just be careful you're not hyperextending and locking that knee. So it works quite well for me to place my foot against it, and we'll have a little play with a bit of distance there in a moment, or a bit of alignment. So the alignment that I want here is just checking where your back leg is, making sure it's not too far forward or not too far back. Coming down a little bit towards the back is fine. We want a little bit of room here. Now the toes are pointing pretty much forward, might be on a slight angle off out to the left-hand side. Maybe just making minor adjustments here, bringing that right hip back a touch, the left hip forward, and feel how that maybe just changes that release through the hamstring there, or maybe it moves it from lower to upper or vice versa. And now with your foot, just making sure it's not rolling out to the side, it's nice and flat on the surface, or if your heel's up on the surface, again, just making sure your foot's nice and straight and not rolling out or rolling in. If it is, then just make that little adjustment. Pull the belly button back to spine, The chest is nice and straight and looking straight forward. This alone is a nice hamstring stretch. It's a nice breath here. And exhale. All right, releasing that knee, we're going to bend it and bring the hands down either side of that front foot. So we want that knee cradled in the shoulder there, so it's not coming out to the side. So you're kind of resting that right hand side of your torso on the thigh. A little bend in that back knee if you need it. You can also straighten it out. And just allow the hips now to come forward. So it might mean that your body comes up a little. We really want that opening in that left-hand side of our hip flexor there. The hands are down and just looking straight ahead. Use the breath. Feel what's under your foot. Under your left foot, can you feel the surface? I can feel those strands of grass. You can also feel the coolness of the earth. It was -3 here this morning, so pretty chilly. It's warmed up now, the sun's out. All right, let's come back, release the hands, use that foot to push yourself back upright. We're going to bring those hands in behind the back now and interlace the fingers. Lift those shoulders up and back, and then drop them down a touch so our hands are coming down towards the ground. That's it. Now lifting the hands away from the back, maybe looking up, opening that chest, but allow the body just to move forward a touch, just to adjust that hamstring stretch. Remember that left hip is coming forward, the right hip is coming back. Subtle adjustments, making sure we get that release in the right place. Good, let's release the hands back down to the bottom and we're going to bend that leg, keeping that nice slow movement, bringing our body down just inside that knee. The knee's coming towards that right shoulder, or the right shoulder's coming towards the knee. And looking down towards that foot, or just to the left of the foot. We're going to lift those hands up and maybe that chest can come down a little further. Good. Lifting the hands a little further. Maybe feel a release through the shoulders as well. Nice contraction through the upper back here. Good. Return those hands down and coming back. And let's release those hands. Give the shoulders a little shake. Keep that hamstring stretch going nicely here. Remember that right hip back, left hip forward. Maybe a little bend in that left knee just to see how that feels. And straightening up again. Good. Now just a bend in that knee, we're going to bring our body forward just as far as we can with a nice straight back. The arms can hang forward. You might be able to reach the arms forward. See how you go. If you can reach the bar in front of you, do so. And if you can't, you can just leave them hang, or you can even bring them behind your back. Whatever works for you. If you have a little bend in that knee, you're still getting a nice stretch in the upper hamstring there. And just might take a bit of tension off the lower back if you have any tenderness there. Good, a nice big deep breath. Beautiful, okay. So bend that knee now. We're going to leave that left hand there. The right hand can come up onto the knee just to start that twist off, looking out to the right hand side. You can bring that arm out, not so much up, but bringing it out on that 45-degree angle. Oh, that sun feels so beautiful, especially when there's a cool breeze. Now you can stay here, or you can drop that hand and wrap it around, maybe coming in underneath around the belly. Really pull that shoulder back. I just got a little click in my spine then when I did that. See what works for you. Keeping that back leg relaxed, not locked. Just a little micro bend. Beautiful. Now let's release that. And now we're going to bring that hand on the inside. This foot comes out to the side. Let that knee fall out to the side. So just see how you go with your foot there, whatever feels comfortable. We want the knee to fall out to the side a little bit. And the hands are directly under our chest and just bending through the arms just to allow that chest to come down. Again, a little micro bend in the back leg. Really opening up the hip now on that right hand side. Strong hip flexor opener for the left hand side now too. And because we've got a little bit of movement here with our body, perhaps a little bit more than when we're on the floor, maybe just check that your weight is evenly distributed on left and right side. You might even just adjust it just slightly, adjust the hips just slightly, just to find that nice juicy spot. Good, one more breath. Beautiful, let's release and let's let that leg go and give both legs a little shake. It's good strengthening for that leg, that bottom leg. Let's go to the other side now. Left leg coming up. Again, find what works best for you. Just keeping that leg straight to start with. We're going to get that left hip. It's like we're pulling that thigh bone into the hip socket there. So bringing it back. Toes sort of stay flexed a little if possible. That right hip coming forward now. Really opening up that right hand side now. Beautiful. Just enjoy this little bit of time to get your alignment right. Pull that belly button back to spine. Lifting the shoulders up and back a little, opening the chest. Beautiful. Let's bring the hands down either side of that hand. Again, cradling that left knee now into the left shoulder, or almost into the inside of the left bicep. And we're opening up that right hip flexor now. You can, again, just put a little micro bend in that back leg, allowing the body now, or the hips to come forward, slight movement. Looking forward. The beauty of practicing when you're traveling is you can really take time to take in your surrounds as well. So make sure when you're holding a pose that you focus on the breath, but also just have a look around and be aware of the sights, the smells, and also what you feel. Especially when you're outdoors, such an opportunity to really feel the environment you're in. Coming back to our hamstring stretch, straightening out that leg now. Let's bring those hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Bring those knuckles down towards the ground. Shoulders are coming up, back and down, and then lifting those hands away from the buttocks. Good. Micro bends where they're needed. Pull the belly button back to spine. Take an inhale. And exhale, just very gently coming forward, a nice straight back, just a little bit. Another couple of breaths here. What can you smell? Are there any particular smells around where you are right now? Good. Drop those hands back to the buttocks. Now, bending that knee, we're going to bring our body forward, keeping the hands where they are, almost a little balance in itself. Left side of the chest is resting on that left thigh now. And looking down, sort of towards the foot or in the center there, and let's lift the hands up and allow that right hip flexor to really open up now. Good. Excellent. Let's release the hands down, coming up, and release the hands all together. Good. From here now, pulling that belly button back to spine. We're going to take an inhale and exhale, coming forward. See where you come to. You might, again, leave the hands hanging. You might like to just place them behind your back, just hands interlocked. Or if you can reach and come over the foot or over the leg, and bringing your hands either side of that front foot. Any micro bends that you need, put them in place, and maybe just gently practice trying to straighten out a little bit more. Again, not hyperextending. Keeping everything activated, pulling that left thigh bone into the hip, right hip flexor coming forward. Tiny, tiny little movements to make our alignment perfect. Good. Let's bend that front leg. Leave the right hand there. Coming into our twist now. Left hand on the left knee, opening up that chest to the side. And you can lift that arm out on the 45-degree angle, looking out towards the hand. You can stay here, or you can bring that arm all the way around, wrapping around, maybe around your waist, around your hip. Good, and releasing, and we're going to come, releasing down and bringing both hands to the inside of that left foot now. Just wiggle that foot out. If there's no room like there isn't for me, I might need to just adjust my right leg so I can make space for this left knee to come out to the side. Hands can then be directly underneath my chest, under my shoulders there. So holding on there. And we can bend through those elbows to really now open up that left hip and the right hip flexor even more. Give that belly button back to spine, and maybe even just lifting the chest a little, and that might just extend that stretch a little further. Maybe just moving a bit left and right to find that nice balance. Beautiful. Take 2 more breaths here, really allowing the hip and the hip flexor to open up. Little micro bend in that leg, maybe the heel lifts up and then presses down. Good, and let's come up and bring that foot down. And again, give everything a nice shake out. Now let's come back to our modified downward dog. Hands on your surface or holding on if it's a fence or the top of the bull-bar. And a little bend in the knees to start with. Bring that chest down towards the legs, head looking down. And now straighten through the legs, maybe just walking them out a little bit like we might do with a downward dog. And just see if there's any difference now in your legs and your flexibility. Seeing if you're a little bit more opened up. Using that breath. Releasing that left hand, we're going to place it on the outside of the right leg for a little twist here. Using that hand against the leg to open up and look underneath that right armpit. The right shoulder might lift up a little, really using that arm. Nice twist. One more breath. Good, let's go the other side. Left hand on the surface now, right hand reaching across outside of the left leg. You might find it's around the ankle, the shin or the calf, the knee, whatever suits you. Maybe lifting that left elbow a little, allowing that right shoulder to twist underneath. Beautiful. Now release that hand, placing it back on our surface. We'll come into a little bit of a modified balance here, so coming into a warrior 3. Let's bring that left foot into the center. We're going to lift that right leg up, keeping those hips nice and square. A little bend in that front leg, looking straight down. The back toes are pointed down, heel pushing out. Keeping those hips nice and square. So it's not a matter of how high you can get your leg. It's really trying to keep those hips square at this stage. Beautiful. You can stay here if you'd like a little bit of a challenge. We're going to bend that leg up. I'm going to release that right hand and use this left leg with a bend to help you balance. Grab hold of that right foot. Then lifting it up, straightening through that left leg now. The hip might open a little bit to the side, pushing that hand into the foot into the hand, pulling the belly button in, lifting up. Our nice modified bull-bar ballerina pose. Good. And bend in the leg, release the hand, and coming up, give yourself a little shake. Let's do that now to the other side. Coming down with our hands, coming down with the body. Right foot's going center this time. Left leg's coming up, toes are pointing down. Place those hands down, pressing those hands down. Hips are nice and square. Little micro bend in that right leg. Good. Keeping those hips nice and square. Toes are pointed down at the back. Heels pushing out. You can stay here, or again, you can bend that leg, release the left hand to hold on to the left foot. into our modified ballerina pose. Push the hand into the foot, foot into the hand, lifting up, holding on with that hand. Even though we're not doing a full balance, we're still balancing and we're still getting a nice extra stretch through the hip flexors, through the hips, belly button lifting. Good, one more breath. And releasing down. Release the feet, coming up with the body. Give everything a nice little shake. And let's just find Tadasana, our mountain pose, for a moment to finish off. Bringing the big toes together, heels are separated a little. Activate those thighs, activate the buttocks. Belly button back to spine, shoulders are up, back and down, hands are facing, palms are facing forward. Shutting down the eyes. Relax through the shoulders. It's a nice activation, but still relaxed. Maybe pull that chin back and down a little. Get that sense of the ears over the shoulders. Take some nice slow breaths here. So inhale and fill up the belly. Fill up the chest and feel some lightness maybe through the spine, through the head, through the shoulders. As you exhale, releasing down. Inhale, feel that motion. Chest, and release the chest and the belly. 2 more breaths like that in your own time. Beautiful, separate the toes. Take a nice big inhale, lifting up. Float the hands down with your exhale. One more time, inhale. Join the palms together, exhale down the center line. Good, just pressing the backs of the thumbs into the chest. A little bit of pressure on the palms against each other. Just bowing the head a touch. And thank you for practicing Bull-Barre yoga with me today. Happy travels and safe travels, and we'll see you next time. Namaste.